Hello guys and gals, welcome to another episode of Squad Morale Restored. My name is Daniel and today we're going to be looking at the Genestealer Cults Atalans Jackals, or what I wanted to call them was Atalan Jackals, but I'm fairly sure now it is Atalan Jackals. If you've seen my previous video of the Ridge Runner, you know that I'm looking into, well, not looking into, I'm actually going straight for it, the fast moving scouty kind of branch of the Genestealer Cults. So, without any more hithering or faffing about, let's take off this plastic. Right, to stop the last video so far through because of static from this foul plastic material. Yay. Right. Okay, so in this set we've got 5 dudes, one with the cool wheelie pose and the little quad, which looks kind of cute and also awesome at the same time. Loving these sort of sawn-off shotgun type weapons, and possibly I would actually want to use these in a Necromunda game as well somehow. I'm not sure if there are rules for the bikers in Necromunda yet. I just like the idea of sort of zooming them around inside sort of warehouse or inside a factory. Today's pooch again is, hello Pip, yep, stop licking me. Right, good girl. So without any more, oh no, we're faffing about again. Right, we're turning this around. Let's have a look. See, we've got today's sort of one little motto thing is the Daredevil Biker Outriders. So it's like, you pick this up in the shop, I'm not too sure what they're all about. Ah, Daredevil Biker Outriders. They sound absolutely perfect. Perfect even. Interesting bunch of people. This one looks vaguely female. Interesting. It's nice to actually have sort of a bit of a mixed gender in some of these as well, just to show that the lasses are also doing mining and engineering work on these far-flung planets. Interesting. Not seen that guy before with the really heavy helmet on. Blimey. And that is not health and safety, carrying a wrench like that. So, let's have a look inside. Feels quite weighty, this box. I do like the Genestealer Cult logo stuck on the tab. That's quite a nice little touch. And we also have the chevrons, construction chevrons, that we had in the Ridge Runner box set. So again, we've got, crikey, we've got hello, any more? Right. So in here we have 2 frames. And again, no transfers. That's interesting. I must admit, I don't actually use the transfers for the Space Marines much myself. But it's always nice to have the option. Right, so actually this time what we'll do is we'll have a quick look in the book. So we have 4 okay, so we've got 4 bikers, love this guy, and the quad bike, which looks like it's got the mining laser over his shoulder. Not sure if that would be how the vehicle was originally set up for use on the planet, but we'll see what happens when we have a look at the miniatures and inside here. Okay, so we've got a little bit of variability, which is nice. We've actually got 6 different heads to choose from, 3 different armaments, which is good. The Book of Armaments. Right, we've also got, for the Atalan Jackal, we've also got different suspension type assemblies to pick as well. That's nice. It's a good, interesting touch. Flicking through a little bit further, we're also blessed that we don't have monopose. Well, we do have sort of monopose miniatures, but with a bit of variation, it looks like you can actually move the angles of all of these arms. Yeah. Okay. And speeding through these guys, because I want to have a quick look at the instructions for the quad bike, or the Wolfquad. Okay, looks fairly straightforward. Oh, wheels seem to be solid, not too half stuck together. Actually, it does look like the mining laser is intentionally going to be attached to the back of it. Interesting thought. Oh, that's a possibility. I'm not sure how stable the platform would be if you want to use this practically, but, you know. Heavy stub is an option, and the incinerator, of course. And then we'll go on to the stats. So, just to preserve copyright and all that kind of thing, I don't want to go too much through the ins and outs of the book. So let's have a quick look at the frames we get. Now, these are really packed frames. There's hardly any space at all between them, between each of the parts. And we're keeping the same kind of design cues throughout the range, which is pretty much hasn't changed since their inception in the 80s, I believe it was. I think it was late 80s. So we've got the knee pads there with the sort of the louvered effect, which I think is just a posh word of saying fins. We do have an interesting light again today. It's still a nice, crisp, wintry morning. Oh, I think it's still autumn, not too sure. But it feels like winter. We have, this is going to be the wheel for the biker who's doing the wheelie, I think, possibly. Nope, forget that. No, I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Okay. Got some sculpted on. Hang on. No, I've got some sculpted on gravel and rocks. So this would be an ideal figure for doing a kind of a nice scenic base and get some bits of cork and little gravel and such like on it. This is an interesting something or other. What's this? Right, okay. So, whoops. So here we've got, looks like a couple of flame fuel canisters for the incinerator. Nice little pressure gauge. Is there anything in it? Yes, there is. We've got a little needle in the pressure gauge. Don't try and hold it steady. It is a lot easier usually filming when there's plenty of natural light about. But that means when it doesn't work out, there's only one person to blame. Hi. Okay. There we go. Interesting looking piece there. The detail is really crisp as usual now. I'm surprised. I'm always surprised now if you actually find something that isn't basically top notch. Yep, made in 2019. You sort of wonder where Games Workshop can actually go from there. I mean, nearly every part of every piece is loaded with detail. And it's kind of amazing that we actually have the technology to produce molds of this quality. And to be honest, it sort of rivals, I would say, in my view anyway, it kind of rivals anything Forge World can put out. It used to be that Forge World had the edge over the Games Workshop plastics, but now, to be honest, there's like nothing in it. Feel free to disagree or agree with me in the comments below. What do you guys think? Are the Games Workshop plastics basically knocking it out of the park right now? Okay, I'll continue on a little tour around the Sprue, a Sprue tour. Even we've got all these little details, like the Genestealer Cult dangly thing. I'm not too sure what it's called. I'm going to say it's a little icon. I wonder where they actually make them, because you'd think that they're supposed to be all secretive and that, and you know, if they know somebody who says, hey, up, you've got a Genestealer Cult icon in your pocket or on the bench, who are you then? What are you up to? You could get rather rowdy. Unless they only cast them after many months or years of infiltration, so everyone's got one. It's a bit like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but in 40k. All right, on our second frame, so this is basically all the bike components. We have, see if these wheels are nice solid. Yeah. So, oops. Try and not get motion sickness by moving around too quickly. Yep. So again, we've got solid wheels and tires. That's all in one part pieces, one part components. If we look on the other side, okay, there's no sort of set way to place them. It's just got like a little indentation to mount them to the axle, which is good, which means you can have them rotated at different angles, although it's not like sort of vehicle hubcaps or trims, I suppose, but you can if you want. You can have them at slightly different rotations. There are our, there we go. And there are the 4 different sort of suspension assemblies, which is pretty good. If you think about the Space Marine bikers, which are it's a really old, it's old kind of frame. They could really do with getting an upgrade. I'm imagining we'll have some Primaris Grav bikers in the near future. Although I would have thought they would have came out for the White Scars. Anyway, this is about the Genestealer Cults. So we've got a selection of headlights as well. So if we get more boxes of these, you'll still have quite a bit of variation. We've got the thicker tires as one piece for the quad bike, or the Wolfquad. Yep, very nice. Very nice indeed. Would have been quite good to have maybe the 2 back wheels with a slightly different design, or maybe a bit bigger or small. No, a bit bigger maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. Although maybe. No, it's fairly. No, I'm fairly happy with that. Getting hard to please again. Okay, so we've got our ammo with there's some spare shells poking out. I think that's poking out, which looks nice. So even if you don't use all of the weapon options, well, you can't use all the weapon options, but if you have sort of spare things like these hoppers, they're easy to be added on as sort of scenery or decoration to other vehicles. Sort of kit them out, or even use them in your terrain. Taking a close look at this guy's backpack thing. It looks like it's got a tail. What's that all about then? Or is it a pipe leading to something? It might be a pipe leading to something. I just like the idea of it being some kind of animal inside and its tail's poking out. Okay. Let's have a little tour down this side of the sprue, or the side of the frame. We've got the front part there with the 3 headlights for the quad. Okay. Little power pick there in that baggage storage. Crikey. Detail on that part alone. Oops. It's just fantastically detailed. I wonder who actually designed the Genestealer Cults, these vehicles, because when you try to find out, it's just designed by the Games Workshop studio, or the sculptors from the Games Workshop studio. I'm just wondering, I'd love to know who it was, or which team of people actually came up with all of these. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. I always like to read some decent comments, or even some not so good comments, because it's nice to have, it's sort of nice to touch base with you guys, see what you're all thinking. Okay, so again, it's going to be another bunch of models I'm really looking forward to assembling. If you have any questions about this, if you also let me know in the comments below, I'll try and reply as soon as possible. It's always great to try and see if I can help you guys out as much as possible in my own way, in my own limited way. Right, so I think that's enough of me rambling on about the Atalan Jackals. As always, you take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you next time. Happy hobbying. Bye for now.